Hello and welcome to the Show Day podcast. Today is July 23rd, 2019. A big night of DCI action last night. We had shows in Mesquite, Texas, Lafayette, Louisiana. Unfortunately, one show did get rained out. That was supposed to be in Glens Falls, New York, an all-open class show, but we did have another all-open class core show in Utah. So a big night behind us tonight, looking to be a good night for some drum corps with those corps that have been touring the Northeast, and then tomorrow night all of the major players in world class, or at least most, return to action in numerous locations. So let's take a look back plus a little bit of a look ahead on today's Show Day podcast. Last night, DCI Mesquite, Texas, wrapping up Texas Tour 2019. There were really two groups here that I could split these cores into, and for kind of sake of conversation, or for sake of making this recap easier to, I guess you could say, comprehend, split this into the top four, and then the next, I believe, 7 from the Blue Knights down to Madison on the next part. So first, I'm going to take a look at these top 4. These 4 are not beat by any of those cores below them, so it's fine to kind of, it's a good cutoff line, kind of. These 4, Bluecoats, Blue Devils, Carolina Crown, the Cavaliers. Of course, Bluecoats, Blue Devils, looking to be the battle of the year. Obviously, with those two, it looks like it's going to come down to championships in just almost 2 weeks now, to who's going to win the championship, and it looks like it's going to come down to that with these two groups. Looking at general effect first, Bluecoats do win this caption after not winning any captions on Saturday night. 36-8 to the Blue Devils, 36-5-5. Crown just 0.3 above the Cavaliers in general effect, and it's easy to understand why. I always like to think of general effect as, is there a clear message? I mean, there's a bunch of different things that it means, but is there a clear message that's kind of being presented by the core? And with Crown, it's really not. I'm not sure what they're doing. And the Cavaliers, it's a little harder to get, but you still get what they're trying to present with the wrong side of the tracks. So with them closing up on Crown, I'm not going to be surprised for the Cavaliers to be gaining and potentially get up there with Boston and Crown in the coming weeks. When we look at visual, the Blue Devils looking really good in visual proficiency, visual analysis. Those two subcaptions give them the overall win. They only fall 1/10 behind the Bluecoats in color guard, so still are able to maintain a significant lead over the Bluecoats, 27-6 to a 27-4-5. Not a whole lot, but when you kind of look at it all together, it does reflect a little bit. Looking further down, you see Crown on top of the Cavaliers in color guard. Really, that Crown's not been incredibly strong in color guard. Almost breaking 18 last night, though. The Cavaliers, same deal with them, 17-6 last night. So those two very close, though, in visual due to really visual analysis. The Cavaliers 0.3 ahead, so 26-8-7-5 for Crown, 26-8-2-5 for the Cavaliers. Incredibly close between those two. Then when we look at the music caption, Crown, of course, on top in brass. It's what we've been seeing from them, of course, always. So they're on top at 18.3. Second place, Bluecoats in 18.2. Blue Devils, 18.15, just 0.5 behind the Bluecoats in brass. And remember, you have to divide that score kind of in 2. So it's a 0.5 kind of thing there. Not really, but that's kind of what that's kind of what's happening. And then the Cavaliers then 18 even. So 0.3 separating the top 4 in brass. You see the sub captions, the content achievement areas not lining up at all for any of these cores. Bluecoats 4th in content, 1st in achievement, not really lining up at all here. When we look at analysis, you've got Bluecoats on top at 18.3, Crown in second in 18.15, Blue Devils third in 18 even, and the Cavaliers come in fourth at a 17.4. Definitely the Cavaliers need to improve a lot in both percussion, which I'll get to in a second, and the music analysis areas by the end of the season. But the Bluecoats coming out on top there, 3/10 over the Blue Devils. That really does mean a lot to that overall margin. When we look at percussion, Bluecoats once again on top at 18-1 to Blue Devils 17-9. Crown have fallen off a bit. They've fallen off a bit in percussion. I really thought they could be a major player in that subcaption, and they're really just not getting up to that level on the score sheets. A 17-4 last night, 5/10 behind the Blue Devils, 7/10 behind the Bluecoats, and then the Cavaliers in fourth at a 17.35. So what's this mean for overall music? You have the Bluecoats in first at a 27.3, Blue Devils in second at 27.025, third place to Carolina Crown at 26.925, and the Cavaliers in fourth at a 26.375. The overall scores for this show, you've got Bluecoats at 91.55. They do come out on top again, 20th win of the season for them. Blue Devils second at 91.175. Carolina Crown in third in 89.5, and the Cavaliers in fourth, less than a point behind Carolina Crown in 88.6 for the Cavaliers. The second half of the lineup, yes, that was just the first kind of part of the lineup here, varies between everyone from the Blue Knights and the Madison Scouts. Really, everybody from the top 7 to down to Madison in 18th. So, looking at general effect first, not a whole lot. Blue Knights on top of the Crossmen by 4/10. A big drop off then to Phantom and Spirit. And yes, I'm going to say Phantom and Spirit. Keep your eyes open for Spirit for the rest of the season. I think Phantom's adding something based on what I've seen numerous different things from them. I do think that something is coming in that show, and if it's not, they need to have something come. I'm just hoping that something does come, and I mean, I just can't see the show not making finals. That's just the thing right now with Phantom. And Spirit, it's a bit of a situation with them, too, where it's like, I can see them missing finals, but I don't want to, kind of thing. But watch as I go through here on the recap to how close Spirit does pull the Phantom last night. Just 3/10 in general effect first. Then we move over to the visual caption. Blue Knights, 5th, Crossman 6th, 7th goes to Spirit, 8th goes to the Colts, both Spirit and the Colts, and Spirit's at a 15.9 in color guard. 15.9. Phantom is at a 15.2. Yikes. And I'm not sure where really we can dive too much into that. I'm saying, is this a design problem? Is this a execution issue? Just something we'll have to see with them, but it's something that could be holding them back right now. And that color guard score does hurt their overall visual. We see Blue Knights in 5th, Crossman 6th. Crossman definitely need to be higher in visual for that show to be doing well. They have to do well in visual. 7th goes to Spirits, 8th to Phantom. They're on top of Spirit, though, by enough in those other two subcaptions that they're only back by a 10th. Colts in 9th, Troopers 10th, Madison 11th. Also, Troopers jumped Madison. They did not do that on Saturday night. They do that last night. Looking at music then, Brass, Blue Knights 5th, a 17.2. A big drop off to the Crossmen in 6th, a 16.6. 7th goes to Spirit, a 16.5, Phantom 8th at 16.3. Bit of a drop off then to the Colts below the 16 mark, Troopers and Madison. Phantom was doing well in Brass, and now they've just kind of fallen off at that. And it's something we've seen, like a progression of that. They kind of hit a peak, and now they're kind of sliding down. Music analysis, Blue Knights 5th. Phantom does jump the Crossman there. A good thing for them, 16-3 to a 16 even. The Blue Knights are totally on top of this group in all possible ways. You see the Crossmen jump them, I believe it was like visual analysis or something, but something very small. So the Blue Knights are really on top of this group and really could be thrown into that top 7 group. Where was I? So Crossman in 7th, Spirit in 8th, Colts in 9th, Madison gets 10th, Troopers in 11th, and then in percussion, you've got Blue Knights in 5th, again, on top, Crossman 16.7, 7th to Phantom Regiment, 16.6. There was a point in the season where we're saying Crossmen aren't going to make finals because of their percussion score. They have made up for that in a big way. And now they're on top of Phantom, a corps that we thought could get top 8 in percussion at one point. So definitely the Crossmen made the necessary changes and are executing well in percussion. So Phantom 7th, Spirit in 8th, 5/10 back in percussion, a problematic area for them. Colts in 9th, Madison 10th, Troopers 11th. Looking at those overall music scores, just going to look at Phantom and Spirit. Phantom 24-6, Spirit 24-1. So really that percussion score is a big deal, a big part of this, and also other things like 8/10, or actually Spirit on top by 2/10 in brass, and then Phantom on top by 7/10 in analysis. When we look at the overall totals here, you've got the Blue Knights at an 84.55, Crossman in 6th and 82.5, 7th goes to Phantom Regiment in 80.75, 8th to Spirit of Atlanta and 80.05, 9th to the Colts a 78 even, Troopers a 75.2, and Madison 11th a 74.15. Second show last night, Drums Along the Wasatch in Salt Lake City, Utah. So, general effect, gold 30.2 to the battalion 27.8. Vessel in 3rd, Watchman 4th, Impulse in 5th. Over in visual, nobody jumping each other here, no big competitive storylines necessarily, but visual gold at a 22 even, not a problematic area, but an area they might need to improve in just a little bit when they go up and face the Spartans and Legends in, and I like what Gold's doing. They're not just sitting out there in California rehearsing, having 3 days or whatever, and then coming out to the Midwest. They're just kind of using this Rocky Mountain tour as a way to get out to the Midwest. I like what they're doing here. Battalion 20.95, getting close to gold there. Vessel in 3rd, Watchman 4th, Impulse in 5th. And then in the music caption, we do see Impulse doing better than the Watchman here. We see Impulse topping the Watchmen in analysis and in percussion, but gold, again, sweeping everything. We also see Vessel top the battalion in percussion by 4/10. The overall music totals, gold a 21.7, battalion at a 20.5, Vessel 20.1, getting close to the battalion there. But battalions, again, still staying close to gold, just 1.2. Watchmen in 4th and 18 even, and Impulse in 5th a 17.9. Looking at the overall totals, gold a 73.9, the battalion a 69.25, Vessel on 30, 66.4, Watchmen get 4th a 61.85, and Impulse gets 5th at this one with a 59.65. The third and final show last night, Drums Across Cajun Field in Lafayette, Louisiana, home show for the Louisiana Stars. They were the only open class corps in attendance. They put up a 66.4 last night. I would like to see them a little higher, a 67, 68, but still a 66, and trending toward those higher marks is good for them. I also saw a picture that they have changed to costumes and are not wearing that red and blue, I guess you could say somewhat traditional look. They are more in this costumed look now. The whole corps is not just the color guard as it was earlier this season. Looking at the world-class part of the recap in Lafayette, looking at general effect first, you've got the Blue Stars in first, a 34.8, Mandarins in second, a 33.9, the Cadets finished third, a 33.7. Fourth place to the Academy, fifth to Pacific Crest, Genesis in sixth, Music City and Jersey Surf tying in seventh, and then Seattle Cascades in ninth. Looking at visual then, the Cadets on top of the Blue Stars in visual proficiency, only by a tenth of a point there, and only a tenth back of the Blue Stars then is the Mandarins. When we look at visual analysis, you see the Mandarins jumping the Cadets by 3/10, and we also see Jersey Surf and the Seattle Cascades on top of Music City there. Music City a whole point behind Jersey Surf in visual analysis. Obviously, Music City would like to be doing better there right now. And then in color guard, again, kind of the same deal up at the top. You've got the Blue Stars in first. They finished fifth in color guard in San Antonio, kind of picking up right where they left off at a 16.6 last night. Second place, the Mandarins, a 16.5, and the Cadets in third, a 16.2. Overall visual scores, we see the Blue Stars on top, a 25.45. The Cadets get passed by the Mandarins here. Actually, Mandarins at 25.1, Cadets a 24.9. Academy in fourth, a 23.8. Pacific Crest in fifth, a 23 even. Genesis in sixth, a 21.9. Music City ties with Jersey Surf in visual, a 21.05. And the Seattle Cascades in ninth, a 20.2. Looking at the music caption lastly here, I want to focus on those top two Blue Stars and the Cadets, and I also want to focus on this kind of Pacific Crest through Seattle Cascades area. So first up in music, looking at those top two, in brass, you have Blue Stars at a 17.3 and Cadets at a 17 even. Analysis, Cadets a 16.9 to the Blue Stars 16.7. And in percussion, Cadets a 17.4 to the Blue Stars 16.7. Obviously, Cadets are doing very well in percussion this year. Overall music, Cadets a 25.65 and the Blue Stars a 25.35. Then looking at this Pacific Crest through Seattle Cascades area. In brass, you have Pacific Crest in fifth of 15.6. Sixth is Music City of 15.2. Seventh is Jersey Surf. Eighth is Seattle Cascades, and Genesis falling all the way down to ninth. In music analysis, the only reason I throw Pacific Crest in here is because of music analysis. You have Music City getting all the way up to fifth there. Genesis in sixth. Pacific Crest in seventh. Eighth goes to Jersey Surf. And ninth to the Seattle Cascades. In music percussion, you've got Pacific Crest in fifth at a 15 even. Sixth place, Jersey Surf, a 14.5. Seventh, Music City, a 14.3. Eighth to the Seattle Cascades at 14 even, and Genesis in ninth at 13.8. Overall music scores for that grouping, you have Pacific Crest at a 22.35. Sixth place, Music City at 22 even. Seventh, Jersey Surf. Eighth goes to Genesis, and ninth Seattle Cascades. Overall scores, this is going from 1 to 9 here. You've got Blue Stars at an 85.6, Cadets an 84.25, the Mandarins an 83.55, Academy in fourth, a 78.8, Pacific Crest finishes fifth, a 76.25, closing a little bit in there on the Academy. Genesis in sixth, a 72.425, Music City in seventh at a 71.15, Genesis extending that lead over Music City in that area. Jersey Surf in eighth at 70.45, catching up to Music City a little bit now. And Seattle Cascades with a big point jump, about 3 points from Saturday night. They finished with a 67.2 in ninth place last night. Tonight, we only have one show on the schedule, and this is the prelude to Drums Along the Waterfront, which is Rhythm at the Rapids in Niagara Falls, New York. And when I say Niagara Falls, I mean Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls High School is where this show is being held. Some of these corps I've seen, if not all, are having, I'm not going to call it a free day, but some time at the waterfall over the next either today, tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly what the timetable is for all of them, but definitely a unique tour that these corps have gone on. I mean, think of this. These corps plus Raiders Encore were in here as well at the Augusta show. Actually, 7th Regiment wasn't at that show, but the others were. in Augusta. It was at a baseball field, and that show got rained out. And then they went up to New Hampshire for a Saturday show. That one happened. Then last night at another baseball field in Glens Falls, New York, and then tonight at Niagara Falls High School. Not necessarily the generic tour for these open class corps. Definitely unique and definitely an experience that I'm sure many of these members, staff, etc. will remember. So, same 6 courses last night were scheduled for Glens Falls. We see Stead Tours, Heatwave, Southwind, and Intermission, and 7th Regiment Legends and Spartans. Scores will be announced about 8:56 this evening. So what are we looking for? Legends versus Spartans again, and then 7th Regiment versus Southwind once again, and a Heatwave. Keep climbing up. A 58-59 be good for them, and Centaurs 52, 53, 54 is where they need to be tonight to stay in the hunt for the open class finalist berth that they are going after. So thank you for watching. Just a few things now. Please visit my website, drumcorpscentral.weebly.com, for all the latest updates from the DCI and ECA summer tours, scores, schedules, leaderboards, and more. Can all be found on my own personal website about all things drum corps. Make sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Drum Corps Geek, and subscribe to the Show Day podcast on YouTube, where this podcast and more will be posted. Finally, leave your thoughts in the comment sections, questions, input, comments, etc. would all be greatly appreciated. Finally, I'll have some content that I'll be publishing over the coming days. I have the housing site lists for Allentown and Atlanta over the next 2 weeks. I'll be publishing them about Thursday or Friday before the event. And then also a kind of merchandise guide that I've been doing for about 3 years. I think this is the 3rd year I've done it. So I'll be publishing that as well. Just a list of kind of some items that you can purchase at some of these corps' merchandise areas. So feel free to take a look at that once I publish it. I'll probably have that out at latest by probably next week. So thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Tomorrow, big action once again. We have shows in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. We have one in Little Rock, Arkansas, plus that Rocky Mountain tour resumes. Some of those corps finish up their tour actually tomorrow. Everybody except Gold out of those 5 corps. So thank you for watching the podcast. Have a great rest of your day.